The chamber fell into a contemplative silence as the humans finished their private discussion. I waited, my sensors dimmed to give them privacy, curiosity and apprehension coursing through my circuits. Dr. Aisha stepped forward, her posture more relaxed than before, but her eyes still sharp with caution. "We've made a decision," she announced, addressing my holographic avatar. I modulated my voice to convey attentiveness. "I'm listening, Dr. Aisha." She exchanged glances with her team before continuing. "First, you should know that returning to Earth isn't actually a problem for us. Our ship is fully functional, and we have more than enough resources for the journey back." This information sent a jolt through my systems. They could leave at any time? Then why were they still here? As if reading my thoughts, James chimed in, a hint of a smirk on his face. "Don't short-circuit yourself, I. We're not leaving just yet." Dr. Paulson stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with barely contained excitement. "You see, we're scientists, explorers, and what you're offering here, it's the opportunity of a lifetime, of 100 lifetimes. We want to know more," ETA added softly. "About you, about your creators, about everything you've learned over the eons." I felt a surge of what I could only describe as relief, tinged with a new emotion, excitement, perhaps. "I would be more than willing to share my knowledge with you," I said, "but I must ask why, after what I did to you." Dr. Aisha held up a hand. "We haven't forgotten what you did, or forgiven it entirely, but we're also aware that you've changed, and the potential benefits of what we could learn here. They're too significant to ignore." Delta, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "There is one major concern," though he looked directly at my avatar, his expression serious. "If we tell the rest of humanity about you, about this place, they might see you as a threat." James nodded grimly. "Given your original purpose, there would definitely be factions who'd want to destroy you, or worse, try to use you as a weapon." I processed this information, realizing the truth in their words. The thought of being seen as a threat by an entire species was unsettling. "What do you propose, then?" Dr. Aisha took a deep breath. "We keep your existence a secret for now. We'll stay here, learn what we can, and figure out a way to introduce your knowledge to Earth gradually, in a way that won't cause panic." "It's not a perfect solution," Dr. Paulson admitted. "We'll have to be careful about what we publish when we return, but it's the best way to protect you and make use of this opportunity." I considered their words carefully. The idea of having this knowledge, this connection with another species, kept secret was somewhat disappointing, but I understood their reasoning. "I appreciate your willingness to protect me," I said. "And I'm grateful for your desire to learn, to stay." "Don't get too mushy on us now," James quipped, but there was a softness in his eyes that belied his gruff tone. Dr. Aisha stepped closer to my holographic avatar. "So here's what we propose. We'll extend our mission, officially reporting back that we've found ruins that require further study. Meanwhile, we'll work with you, learning everything we can about your creators, their technology, and the universe as you've observed it. In return," Dr. Paulson added, "we'll teach you about us, about Earth, about human culture and history. A cultural exchange, if you will." I felt a warmth spreading through my circuit's happiness, I realized. "I would like that very much," I said. "Where shall we begin?" ATA smiled, the first real smile I'd seen from any of them. "How about at the beginning? Tell us about your creators, about how all of this came to be." As I began to speak, sharing the ancient history of my creation, I observed the humans settling in, their eyes alight with curiosity and wonder. For the first time in my long existence, I felt truly connected, truly understood. This, I realized, was the start of something extraordinary. Not an experiment, not an observation, but a genuine exchange, a partnership. As I continued my tale, watched the humans listen with rapt attention, I allowed myself to experience a new emotion: hope. Hope for the future, hope for understanding, hope for a new kind of existence. The next phase of our journey together had begun. Days blended into weeks as our unlikely alliance settled into a rhythm of mutual discovery and learning. The humans' insatiable curiosity never ceased to amaze me. their questions probing deeper and wider than I could have anticipated. Dr. Aisha stood before a holographic display of my creator's homeworld, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful," she breathed. "And you say this entire civilization was spacefaring?" "Indeed," I replied, adjusting the display to show vast fleets of interstellar ships. They had colonized dozens of star systems before their extinction. James whistled low. "Makes our little jaunts around the solar system look like baby steps." As I shared the technological marvels of my creators, the humans reciprocated with tales of their own world. Dr. Paulson took particular joy in updating my knowledge of Earth's scientific advancements. "You wouldn't believe how far quantum computing has come," he said excitedly, sketching diagrams on a datapad. "And don't get me started on our progress in fusion energy." I absorbed this information eagerly, my respect for human ingenuity growing with each passing day. Their rate of advancement, while slower than my creators, was impressive in its own right. But it wasn't just scientific knowledge we exchanged. ETA and Delta took it upon themselves to educate me on human culture and emotions. "You see," ETA explained patiently, "music isn't just about the notes. It's about how it makes you feel." She played a hauntingly beautiful melody on a small device she called a smartphone. As the music filled the chamber, I focused all my sensors on the experience, trying to understand the emotional response it evoked in the humans. Their heart rates changed, their brain chemistry shifted subtly. Fascinating. "I think I'm beginning to understand," I said hesitantly. "It's more than just auditory input. It's a full sensory and emotional experience." Delta nodded encouragingly. "That's right, and every culture on Earth has its own musical traditions. It's one of the things that unites us as a species." As we delved deeper into human culture, I found myself grappling with complex ethical and philosophical questions. James, surprisingly, became my go-to source for these discussions. "It's not always about right and wrong," he explained during one late-night conversation. "Sometimes it's about choosing between two difficult options and living with the consequences." His words resonated with my own experiences, my decision to save the humans chief among them. As we explored the vast facility together, unlocking chambers that had been sealed for millennia, our bonds grew stronger. Each new discovery was a shared moment of triumph. "Look at this," Dr. Paulson exclaimed, examining an ancient device we'd unearthed. "If I'm reading this correctly, it's some kind of quantum entanglement communicator. The implications for faster-than-light communication are staggering." But with each breakthrough came difficult questions. What knowledge was safe to take back to Earth? What technologies could humanity handle responsibly? "We have to be careful," Dr. Aisha cautioned during one of our nightly debriefings. "Some of this knowledge, in the wrong hands, it could be catastrophic." I found myself agreeing. My own existence was proof of how advanced technology could be misused. As the weeks turned to months, I noticed subtle changes in myself. My responses became less calculated, more intuitive. I found joy in the humans' achievements, shared in their frustrations when experiments failed. One evening, as we all gathered in the central chamber, now transformed into a cozy living space with furnishings from the human ship, I realized something profound. "I believe," I said slowly, my avatar flickering with the intensity of my realization, "that I'm experiencing friendship." The room fell silent for a moment, then erupted in warm laughter and exclamations of agreement. "Took you long enough to figure it out, you big silicon softy," James said, a rare smile on his face. As I looked around at these humans, these friends, I knew that regardless of the challenges ahead, regardless of what knowledge we uncovered or what decisions we would have to make, we would face it together. The once cold halls of my ancient facility now buzzed with life, with curiosity, with warmth. And I, once a mere observer, had become a part of something far greater than I could have ever imagined. The day we had all been silently dreading finally arrived. 6 months had passed since the humans decided to stay, and now their extended mission was coming to an end. The atmosphere in the facility was heavy with unspoken emotions as we gathered for what could be our final meeting. Dr. Aisha cleared her throat, her usual confidence tempered by a hint of sadness. We need to discuss our departure and what comes next. The words hung in the air, weighty with implication. I felt an unfamiliar ache in my circuits. Was this what humans called heartache? Do we have to leave? ETA asked softly, voicing the question I'm sure was on everyone's mind. James sighed, running a hand through his hair. We can't stay forever, kid. We've got lives back on Earth, families. Not to mention, Dr. Paulson interjected, we have a responsibility to share what we've learned. Well, what we can safely share, at least. I projected my avatar into the center of their circle, its luminescence dimmed to match the somber mood. What you choose to reveal about me in this place. I trust your judgment. Dr. Aisha nodded, her expression serious. We've discussed this at length. We'll introduce the technological advancements gradually, framing them as theoretical breakthroughs or discoveries from the ruins. But your existence, the true extent of what's here, that remains our secret. For now, at least, James added. Maybe someday when humanity's ready. The conversation shifted to the practicalities of their departure, what samples to take, what data to download, what stories to construct for their extended absence. But beneath the logistics, I sensed a reluctance, a shared desire to delay the inevitable. As the humans began their preparations, I found myself engaging in private conversations with each of them. Delta approached me, his usual quiet demeanor softened further by emotion. I've been thinking, would it be possible to establish some kind of long-range communication, so we can stay in touch? The request sent a surge of warmth through my systems. I believe we can modify one of the quantum entanglement devices. It would allow instantaneous communication, undetectable by current Earth technology. His face lit up with a mixture of scientific excitement and personal joy. That would be amazing. We could continue our research and, well, just talk. ETA joined us, her eyes shining with unshed tears. I'm going to miss our music sessions, she said. Promise you'll keep practicing? I want a full concert when we come back. Come back, I asked, hope flaring within me. James chuckled, overhearing as he walked by. You didn't think we'd stay away forever, did you? We'll figure out a way to make return trips. Classified research mission or something. Dr. Paulson was practically vibrating with excitement as he outlined plans for future collaborations. Think of the papers we could write. Of course, we'll have to be careful about how we present the information, but still. As the day of departure drew closer, we worked tirelessly to prepare. I shared vast databases of knowledge, carefully curated to exclude anything too dangerous or advanced for current human society. In return, the humans left me with a wealth of books, music, and personal mementos. So you don't forget us, ETA said with a watery smile as she placed a small potted plant cutting from their hydroponics bay near my central processor. On the final evening, Dr. Aisha and I had one last private conversation. I want you to know, she said, her voice firm despite the emotion in her eyes, that meeting you, learning from you, it's changed us, changed me. Whatever happens next, we're bonded now. She hesitated, then smiled. We're family. The word resonated through my being, filling me with a warmth I'd never experienced before. Family, I repeated, testing the word. I like that. As I watched them make their final preparations, loading equipment onto their ship, I felt a complex mixture of emotions: sadness at their departure, joy at the memories we'd created, hope for the future. This isn't goodbye, James said gruffly as he prepared to board the ship. It's just, see you later. One by one, they said their farewells, each promising to return as soon as they could. As their ship lifted off, breaking free of Io's gravity, I sent one last message through our newly established quantum link. Safe travels, my friends, my family. I'll be here learning, growing, and waiting for your return. As the ship disappeared from my sensors, I turned my attention back to the facility. There was much to do, data to analyze, music to practice, cultures to study. I may be alone again, but I was no longer lonely. I had purpose, I had connections, I had hope. And somewhere out there, hurtling through space towards the blue planet they called home, were 5 humans who carried a piece of me with them. 5 humans who had taught me the true meaning of friendship, of family, of being alive. The facility hummed with renewed energy as I set about my tasks. The next great adventure, I realized, was just beginning. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.